Do you guys remember in school when the teachers would prepare you for a test or a quiz or an exam and just give you this statement like, if you don't know an answer to a question, just skip it and then come back to it later? Well, I realized a couple of months ago when I came home from traveling that that's kind of the philosophy that I had been living my life with for the past year and a half as I was gone. I realized that I had been constantly searching in this kind of tireless, restless manner for the answers to these huge questions like what am I doing in this world? Who do I want to be? How do I want to spend my time? Who do I want to be with? What do I want to become? What world issue do I want to solve single-handedly? Those are the kind of things that I put on myself as a pressure. And I realized that that's no way to live my life. My life is not a test that I owe anyone the answers to. I don't have to prove myself to anyone. My existence is pure and finite and perfect the way it is. And I believe that about every person. So I found it really, really hard when I first came home because people would start conversations with me like, oh, how was the world? And then I would just stop and have no idea what to say and just almost have this sense of like frustration in me because I had no idea, and sometimes I still have no idea where to start. How do you even describe what it feels like to be adopted by strangers every Monday? Shout out to my host families. How do you describe what it feels like to volunteer your time, your non-refundable time, every week to a different organization that's doing good in their community? There's no way to describe it. So I realized that I was asking these questions of other people too, people that I haven't seen since high school graduation. Back home, I would run into them and say like, how's it going? What are you doing in your life right now? And then I felt a little bit hypocritical because those are the questions that I didn't like people asking me. But I realized the reason why I asked them and the reasons why other people probably ask me those questions about what am I doing in my life now? What am I excited for? What's my next plan? Even if I don't have a plan, I'm asking that question because I'm curious. I think every single person is searching for their next step. They're searching for their plan. They're searching for the pathway in their life. And so when people ask you questions like, what's your next step? Or what do you want to be? I encourage you not to react in a way that I did for a few months this summer out of, frustration, the expectation that you should have your entire life planned out at 20. Obviously not. I think people ask that question out of curiosity. I encourage you to respond to that question with a sense of kindness and curiosity and also understanding, because I think every single person is searching for their way. I am a perfect example of what it looks like when things don't go as you plan them, but turn out to be better. So I don't know how many of you know my full story when it comes to, how I got into traveling and why I even went in the first place. But long story short, I had been planning to go to this university my entire grade 12 year. I had done a lengthy admission process. I got accepted. I was so excited. I went to the school and met the people I was going to be going to school with. And then a few months before I was supposed to move in, I found out my student loans weren't approved. So this whole year of planning for the next 4 years of my life was completely gone. All of it, my plans completely changed. I didn't have that plan anymore. So I went online and I Googled the things that I knew I loved. I knew I loved music and traveling and volunteering. And Up With People is one of the first 4 links. I applied to all of them and Up With People just got back to me sooner. And so 3.5 weeks later, I was in Denver starting my first semester with Up With People. And then at the end of my student semester in Up With People, they had a position in the job that I did an internship with. My phone died in the middle of that video. We'll start again. So I had an internship in this position called Education Coordinator, and so I applied, and 2 weeks later I became a staff member for this program that I never even knew existed. And then I traveled for another 2 semesters as a staff member, but by the end of my travels, I just felt trapped. I just felt like I didn't know who I was anymore. I had just lost myself in so much change. I had seen so many different walks of life, so many different perspectives, and I had been through so many challenges myself that I knew I had changed, but I didn't know how, and it was really frustrating for me that I wasn't coming to that realization. Again, me living my life like a test, trying to go back to those answers as fast as possible to fill them out and move on and just get to the point of my life where I'm 85 and looking back on my life and telling these stories of these amazing adventures that I went on, but not actually doing the adventures. I was just ready to have this story of this amazing big life behind me, but I was so impatient to actually do the big adventure, big life part of it. So I am a perfect example of living your life not according to plan. I had a plan for my life and it didn't turn out that way, but it turned out to be the most rewarding thing for me, because I would have never ever seen the world this much if I had gone to university right away like I was planning to. And now I don't even know if I want to go to school, I don't even know where I want to live, I don't even know who I want to be, but what I've done is become comfortable in the seat of not knowing. That is a quote from Margaret Wheatley, who is this amazing feminist author who I encourage you to look into. But yes, becoming comfortable in the seat of not knowing is the most empowering thing, because life is change. That's the only thing that's constant in life, is risk and change and things being different than you expect them to be. So I encourage you guys to understand that every single person in life is doing their best. We're all just trying to find our way, and there's no one way of living a life, and so allow yourself to be surprised by what happens, and maybe don't worry about not having a plan, because sometimes that's the best plan you can have, just going with what happens. So I hope you guys have another great week, and I'm excited to hear about all the things in your life that are going so well, and let me know what you want to talk about next week.